FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And on the phone right now, I am talking to Kia. And Kia's with the band. They're called Conquer Divide. Their latest song is called What's Left Inside, a song that we're spinning here on The Dark every night. And first of all, Kia, thanks so much for joining me. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. You know, we got over the 4th of July weekend and that, and I guess I'm still recovering from that. How about you? Are you recovering from that?
I'm recovering slowly but surely.
Yeah, now you said you were at work here, so you had to take a little bit of a break to do this interview, and obviously I didn't want to come to work, really. I'll be honest with you. It's Tuesday, and I didn't want to be here, but here we are. I guess the reason I wanted to come because I wanted to talk to you and find out more about the band Conquer Divide. So let's get into that. Let's get into it, Kia. Let's talk about the band. And the cool thing about this band, first, if people haven't been listening to The Dark, which shame on them, but they should be knowing this by now. It's an all-female band, 6-member band. How did this band all come about?
Kirsten actually started like the concept of the band a while back, and she already had like the band kind of in place, and she was holding auditions for a vocalist, and that's how I got in the band. We found Janelle via YouTube. Actually, Joey Sturgis found her, which is kind of crazy. And that's where we are now. We mostly found each other online, to be honest, which the internet is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've talked to other bands before, and that's how they found their members, like Craigslist, all these certain things. It's crazy because, you know, I'm a little older maybe than you possibly. I'm just thinking that. So back in the day, you know, in the 80s, you saw people in school, you went to the bars, you went to clubs, and that's where you kind of found your band mates and you became a band.
Like network kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's different. Now you're scrolling online here, or better yet, you're probably on your smartphone and looking for a bandmate, huh?
Yeah, when I actually auditioned, I didn't have a smartphone. I still had like my old phone, but I had an iPod Touch, and that's like how I did all my emails and stuff was like on my iPod Touch when I was on Wi-Fi.
I was going to say, would you have the old bag phone? No, I'm just kidding. That's old. But anyway, let's get back to the band here a little bit more. Conquer Divide. So, and the cool thing is you're all spread out basically all over the country and even over the pond overseas in England too. How does that work, I guess, for you guys?
Well, as far as like when we're writing new music and stuff, we kind of just send it back and forth, you know, because you can really send things instantly now, and we have like Skype band meetings and things like that. But you know, we always get together before we go like on a tour or play a show. We jam really hard, like consistently, and I think our method kind of works. So you know, but that's kind of how we get around the distance thing. A lot of online sessions and like a lot of hardcore practicing instead of like meeting up every now and then to practice. We meet up like at one time and practice like a lot.
Right. Like I said, it's back in the old days, you'd go to somebody's garage and pound it out for weeks upon weeks, but you guys now have used technology to your advantage. And are we seeing more bands like yourself using more of the technology to put together bands?
I think so, absolutely, because, you know, there's all these like forums like on Facebook, and like people will post like, oh, this is my music, I'm looking for a singer, and people will not even know these people that they're, you know, starting the band with, but maybe they'll have like mutual friends. So I think that the online thing is becoming a big tool in especially like newer bands, forming bands and like making music and stuff like that, for sure.
We're talking with Kia. Of course, she's the singer of the band Conquer Divide. You mentioned new bands, and you know this is not an easy industry to get into, obviously, and it's tough for new bands, and sometimes it might even be tougher now than it was back in the day because you almost have to support yourself 100%. How has that been so far for you guys?
Being a new band and like breaking in and whatnot.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's been kind of challenging for sure, but I feel like we have some of the same challenges that everyone else has. You know, I mean, a lot of people think that being in the music industry and doing music is a lot of glam, but it's a lot of hard work, and we struggle a lot with like having enough money to, to eat sometimes when we're on the road, and we struggle with like right now our van is broken. I think the engine is dead. So,
Uh-oh.
I mean, like breaking into the scene, I think is really difficult because people a lot of times either love it or hate it, and there's a lot of like keyboard warriors that will try to like make you feel not very good about yourself and about your music.
Right.
And I think all new bands that are trying to, get recognition and stuff, I think they all kind of go through those same things. But we just kind of try to push through it
Yeah,
as we can.
and it's true. It's a difficult world. You can get, I've talked to many other bands too, and sometimes you get advice from some people, but that advice wasn't the best advice, or maybe it was advice to actually benefit them but hurt you. I guess by saying that, who's kind of helped you along this band create and in the industry so far, kind of guide you through and try to get the best advice you can?
I think honestly our biggest and most helpful advisor so far has definitely been Joey.
Yeah.
Joey Sturgis. He produced our album, and he really knows a lot about what's what in the music industry, and he gives us really good, unbiased advice, which I think is really nice. He kind of helped us find what direction we wanted to go in, and he's just a really smart guy, and he knows what he's doing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Other than that, like Shandan, he's been a lot of help to us. He's the one. He's kind of been like helping us get on the radio and kind of giving us advice about how to increase our views and things like that, especially online. I think we have a really awesome team, and we have a lot of people that give us advice, and also like other bands that we tour with will give us really good advice too.
Yeah.
So we really kind of get it from everywhere,
Absolutely. You mentioned Joey Sturgis, and of course, producer, engineer, Asking Alexander, Bless the Fall, and of course of Mice and Men. And, when I listen to your music, Conquer Divide, and I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but you're kind of like the female version of Mice and Men. That's what I'm going to call you. Is that?
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Is that okay?
I think that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to some of the other stuff. Of course, your latest song, "What's Left Inside," a little bit different than some of the other stuff that I've seen you or I've heard from you. But you have definitely a Mice and Men vibe. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Thank you.
On the female side, which is cool. Which I'm digging the female.
We're basically the same, We just have boobs.
Well, yeah, some guys have boobs too.
Well, yeah, that's true.
What I was going to get to, though, on the female side of things, though, is the industry's really taking off with this female-fronted thing, and more all-female bands again are kind of coming back. What's your take on it?
I think it's awesome, I mean, I feel like in the past a lot of female-fronted bands and artists and things like that have almost been kind of gimmicky. So I think it's nice to have it not so much of a gimmick and more of just, musicians playing music. And also I think it's really great because I want to inspire younger girls, especially younger musicians, to get out and go chase their dreams and do what they want to do, but maybe have been too scared to do, because it is, we do kind of live in a man's world. But I think it's awesome that more of them are coming out, because I think it's kind of like a snowball effect, More will start coming out now, and then after that, it will just be more and more and more. And I think that's great.
Has it been a little bit difficult for female-fronted bands to kind of separate themselves from other female-fronted bands? It's kind of like the old adage, like the guys band, and then they're just kind of singing the same stuff. Is it tough to separate a little bit?
It is, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Haley Williams.
Yeah.
He's the reason that I started singing, but it's hard for people to not recognize me as my own musician, and kind of and say like, oh, this band is exactly like Paramore, but maybe heavier, Or like I know some people when they heard What's Left Inside, they're like, "Wow, this band is exactly like Flyleaf. That's so unoriginal." And it kind of sucks, because all male bands, so to speak, are not all the same. Just like all female fronted bands are not all the same.
Right. Well,
So it is kind of hard to separate ourselves, but I think we're doing a good job so far. I mean, I'm proud of how far we've come for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned Flyleaf, Lacey Sturm, and at least the latest song, "What's Left Inside," it definitely has a sound like that. And that's not a bad thing though either. Though.
Oh no, definitely not a bad thing. I mean, those are all of those musicians that we get compared to are awesome musicians. So like I love the comparison for sure.
And the cool thing about that, though, is, those people have kind of paved the way to help you guys out a little bit here.
Yeah.
And, if some guy like me, radio guy, has got to listen to you get a ton of stuff all the time sent to a radio station. And it's kind of your ear kind of either like it or you don't. And, right away when I heard that What's Left Inside, I was like, boom, instant, no problem. That's going to be a hit on the radio. I think you're climbing the charts already. You're in the top 40 under the radar. I think you'll probably this week you'll get above that even. So, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really awesome. I'm super excited about it.
What is the reaction?
It's cool to be on the radio.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, and have you heard her song on the radio?
I'll have it because in my car, my radio doesn't work, so I just always have to listen to music from my phone.
Oh, I love it.
My mom, it used to be in my mom's car. I think she ripped the antenna out to go through the car wash or something, and now we couldn't get it back on or something like that.
Oh, so we're gonna have to get a GoFundMe page for you, not only for a van but also for a radio in your car.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that's the thing though about artists, starving artists. I mean, you guys are starving artists, trying to be known, trying to be found. And how has that been, I guess, perceived so far? For that matter, radio stations around the country, how are they digging your stuff right now?
So far, I think a lot of people are really digging it, which is really exciting. I feel like every musician's dream, or at least mine, my dream from when I was a very little girl, like 8 years old, making up stupid songs with my sister. I've always imagined how cool it would be to hear myself on the radio. And I've done a couple interviews already, which is really crazy that there's people on the radio that want to talk to me. That's so exciting. And I feel like it's being received really well, especially, we're on the charts and stuff like that. So I feel like it's getting a really good response, and that's really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's got to be cool. That is cool. We're talking with Kia from the band Conquer Divide. Conquer Divide is the name. Is there a story behind it, or how'd the name come all about?
Well, we had a bunch of different names when we got to the name-picking aspect. We had a bunch of names that we couldn't decide because we're all kind of indecisive sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the one that we kind of all agreed on.
Well,
we kind of feel like it represents, taking on the music industry and kind of we want to come in and make people see us differently. So that's kind of where that came from.
I live in a house full of women. I have my wife and 3 daughters, so sometimes it's a long time to make a decision. So I'm glad you guys came up with the name, especially with a 6-member band. Not even a 4-piece, but you're a 6-piece though.
Yeah,
how
a lot of us.
Do you have enough stage room up there to do what you need to do?
Sometimes it'll. Sorry, I can't talk. Sometimes it is a little bit crowded. Tamara has a pretty big kit too. Tamara plays the drums, for those of you who don't know. She has a pretty big drum kit too, but we have so much fun when we play that even if it is a super crowded stage, we don't even care because we're just having fun, and we're basically, it's almost like we're just playing a show with just each other because we're just kind of goofing off and stuff on stage. So.
That's cool. That's cool. And you mentioned touring. You've done some touring already, and that how did that go? And kind of who did you go out with?
Our very first tour was with It Lies Within.
Okay, yeah.
It was a 2-week tour. That one was a bit stressful because it was our very first tour, and you really learn a lot about someone when you car in a van with them for like almost every single day.
Yeah.
Um, every tour after that, though, I feel like we've been getting better and better, not only with, our shows that we play, but also with, like, living with each other, essentially.
Right.
We went out with Alisana. We went on the All-Star tour with Upon the Burning Body and Dance Seven Dance. And then we just got back from another tour with Slade.
Nice.
So all of the tours have been super fun. We've toured twice with Capture the Crown. They were on the Alisana tour and also the Slaves tour. But I think, it was kind of stressful, but, like, now we kind of know how to avoid pushing each other's buttons, I guess you could say, and when to kind of just, like, chill out and give each other space. But, it is, not surprisingly, it is very hard for 6 women to live in a van together for months at a time.
I was just going to say, that has got to be crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I went to college, and I remember, hanging out with a bunch of women that lived in a house, 5 or 6, but, they had their own separate rooms. Here you're in a van driving for maybe 10, 12 hours. That could get tricky.
Yeah.
Who's...
It is kind of fun, though, because, like, me and Janelle usually share the same, like, space, like, bunk space.
Okay.
So we just kind of have, like, slumber parties every night, and that was really fun.
Who's the clean one and who's the messy one, then, when it comes to that?
Oh, Kristen and Tamara are definitely, I think, the neatest.
Okay.
Kristen is probably the most neatest and organized with all of her things.
Okay.
As far as the messiest, I would say probably me and Janelle would tie for that.
Okay.
Because we're just so, like, carefree that we're just like, oh, there's a sock under my pillow. I left it there,
Nice. Hey, let's get back to the music here. We're talking with Kia from the band Conquer Divide, and the latest song is called What's Left Inside. What does the song mean? What's the meaning behind this song?
So this song is basically about a broken relationship between a parent and a child, or really, if it applies to someone else in another form of relationship, then that's cool too. But basically, it's kind of like, when someone holds you to a certain standard, and no matter how hard you try, you feel like you'll never be good enough to please that person. So basically, you just give and you give and you give until you have nothing left to give, and you're striving for an unattainable goal and trying to be someone that you don't think that you can be, or someone that maybe you don't want to be. So that's basically what that's why it's, what's left inside, because there's nothing left inside.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Do you enjoy playing that song live, or is there a certain song you really enjoy playing live?
We actually haven't played that one live,
okay.
Yet. My favorite song to play live is Self-Destruct.
I can see that.
It's really, really fun. It's, like, super fast-paced. And also my favorite part is, like, in the very middle when the music kind of dies down, but I'm still holding out a note. It feels so cool every time I do that.
Wow. That's another thing too. You got to be, we've talked about it. You're in a small space. You got to kind of figure out the people around you, how to act, how to kind of hang out with them. But how about on the regimen of keeping your voice? Especially when you're going out on tours and you're going night after night, or you're late nights and all that. What do you guys do to, I guess, keep yourselves healthy and be able to perform each night?
Well, we have to try really, really hard to keep ourselves healthy, because when one of us gets sick, we all get sick.
Yeah.
Last tour, we basically got almost everyone on the tour package sick.
Wow.
But we take a lot of vitamins. Me and Janelle, since, our body is our instrument,
Right.
We drink a lot of tea. And also we take lots and lots of supplements and, like, vitamins.
Right.
Sometimes it just really comes down to just going on vocal rest. And this last tour, like, I think we all got probably the most sick we've ever been on tour. So we kind of just learned, like, tips and tricks to, like, keep our voices and our bodies healthy. But it really comes down to trying to get as much sleep as possible, even while, you're driving down bumpy roads all night. Getting as much sleep as possible, drinking a lot of water, and a lot of the time simply just going on vocal rest and not talking to anyone.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's tough, though. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing it. I mean, I get to go home and, sleep in a nice fluffy pillow, whatever you want to call it, and, snuggle up with my wife. She'll be like, yeah, you don't snuggle. But anyway, I mean, it's like, I get to go home at night. You're on the road going from one club to the next. And you might be playing in front of 200 people, and the next night you might play in front of 25 people. You just never know.
Yeah, you really don't.
That's one of those things. We're talking with Kia from the band Conquer Divide. I know she's got to get going here, so I want to wrap up this here. But one question I love asking is and you don't have a huge library of music yet, but if there was an artist out there, and any artist it could be in the music profession, would you like to cover one of your songs? What artist out there would you like to have cover a Conquer Divide song? If you
cover one of our songs?
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before.
Well, everybody else is always, covering a song. You got the latest, of course, from Disturbed, the Simon and Garfunkel, The Sound of Silence, and, Dave Grohl covers songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But who do you think, it doesn't even have to be in the industry, but who would be a cool person or persons to cover one of your songs? Maybe
I've never really thought about that before. But me personally, I would probably say Rihanna.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
She's awesome, I think.
Yeah.
She's just a badass. I don't know if I can say that on the radio.
Yeah, you can say that here, okay. The cool thing is, I would love to see like a Taylor Swift, a Rihanna, a Katy Perry, a Pink, somebody like that, take some of these rock songs and cover them rather than the opposite way.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool, honestly. And if you can get in touch with Rihanna's people and tell her to do one of her songs.
Oh, yeah. Wait, here. I got her on speed dial right now.
That would be awesome.
Have you ever played in Minnesota before?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What do you know about us up here in Minnesota?
Not really very much. I'm terrible with geography.
Okay. Well, okay. That's good. Have you ever ice fished? I always like to ask that question.
Ice fish?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's kind of scary to me. I'm scared I would fall through the ice.
Well, there's got to be enough ice underneath you to walk on it. So, but I always say you have a chance to walk on water every so often here in Minnesota. So, of course.
Oh, really? Well, next time we go there, I'll try.
Well, it might be a little cold, though, to come up, in the months of January, February. So maybe you want to make more of a stop through here in July or August. But anyway.
Will there still be ice, though?
No, there wouldn't be ice then.
Oh.
No. So, but
I don't know if I can walk on regular water. Probably just frozen water.
Yeah, I haven't mastered that art either yet. So. The band is Conquer Divide. How do people get a hold of the band? How do they get more information about the band if they want to, share it to the friends and that?
We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. Both of those are just under Conquer Divide. I believe our Facebook is Conquer Divide USA.
Okay.
Not just Conquer Divide. We also all have personal Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat that everyone can follow.
Sure.
And also, you can go on YouTube if you want to watch any of our music videos.
Yeah, and I would strongly encourage doing that because, you hear the song What's Left Inside, but you play some of the other stuff and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that's not just what they play. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got a bunch of different stuff, which is exciting.
It's, as I mentioned, it's the female version of Mice and Men. That's what I'm calling you, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Kia,
Take it.
thanks so much for joining me. We're going to play your latest song, What's Left Inside. I wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully you get a chance to come up to Minnesota sometime and we can check you out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Once again, that is Kia from the band Conquer Divide. Their latest song is called What's Left Inside. You're hearing it right now. It's on The Dark. It's on FM 94.